Presented by Cursed by the Witch. Warning, use headphones before listening to horror podcast story.
The Ghost in the Attic is a chilling tale of an unsuspecting family who moves into a house with a dark and haunted past. The attic, long forgotten and sealed away, holds the terrifying secret of a restless spirit bound by tragedy, revenge, and unresolved pain. The story delves into themes of family, guilt, and the unrelenting grasp of a vengeful spirit, painting an atmosphere of creeping dread as the ghost's influence begins to tear the family apart. Part 8. The New Beginning. The story begins with the Harris family, David, his wife Laura, and their two children, Mark and Sophie, moving into an old Victorian-style house in a quiet town. The house, with its tall, creaking structure, had stood abandoned for decades, untouched by time but weathered by whispers of a haunting that no one dared to investigate. To the Harris family, however, it was an opportunity to start anew, a house full of potential that David, an architect, hoped to renovate and restore. The house is beautiful on the surface, with high ceilings, intricate woodwork, and large windows that let in plenty of light, but there's something unsettling about it. From the very beginning, Laura feels a chill in certain parts of the house, especially near the attic, which remains locked with an old, rusted padlock. David brushes off her concerns, eager to begin the renovations, and dismisses the attic as just another project. Despite the house's allure, the family notices strange occurrences almost immediately. Small objects seem to disappear and reappear in odd places, doors creak open by themselves, and at night, soft thuds and footsteps can be heard from the ceiling above, the sound unmistakably coming from the locked attic. Part 2. The Whispering Shadows. As the days pass, the strange events intensify. Laura starts hearing soft whispers, barely audible, whenever she's alone in the house. It's as though someone is calling her name from far away, their voice carried on the wind. The children begin to complain of nightmares, particularly Sophie, who dreams of a woman in white standing at the foot of her bed, watching her with cold, hollow eyes. David, absorbed in his renovations, doesn't believe any of it. He chalks it up to the family's nerves about the move and the house's creaky, old structure. But Laura can't shake the feeling that something is watching them, especially when she's near the attic door. One day, as she stands in the hallway, she hears the faint sound of crying coming from behind the locked attic door, a sorrowful, haunting wail that sends chills down her spine. Curious and terrified, she convinces David to unlock the attic. He reluctantly agrees, believing it will calm Laura's fears once they see there's nothing inside. Using an old iron key they found in one of the drawers, David unlocks the attic door. Part 10. The Attic Secret. As the door creaks open, a gust of cold, musty air rushes out, as though the attic itself had been holding its breath. The space is dim, with only a small, circular window letting in a sliver of light. Dust and cobwebs cover the floor and old furniture, and boxes of forgotten belongings are stacked high against the walls. At first glance, the attic seems abandoned, but something feels terribly wrong. There's an oppressive, heavy atmosphere that hangs in the air, as though the room itself is holding onto something dark. As they explore, Laura discovers a small, dust-covered trunk in the corner. Inside, she finds old letters and photographs, all belonging to a woman named Isabella Crawford, who lived in the house nearly a century ago. The letters tell a tragic story. Isabella had fallen in love with a man who promised to marry her, but he betrayed her, abandoning her for another woman. Heartbroken and humiliated, Isabella isolated herself in the attic, where she was said to have taken her own life. Her body was never found, but her disappearance became a local legend, with whispers that her spirit still lingered, searching for justice or revenge. As Laura reads the letters aloud, a cold breeze sweeps through the attic, and the whispers return, this time louder and more insistent. It's as if Isabella's presence has awakened, stirred by the reading of her final words. Laura feels a sense of deep sorrow and anger, and for a brief moment, she thinks she sees a shadow move in the corner of the attic. Part 4. The haunting begins. After the attic is opened, the haunting escalates. The family begins to hear footsteps pacing in the attic at all hours of the night, and Sophie continues to see the woman in white in her dreams, though now the figure is closer, her face more distinct and her eyes filled with malice. Mark, who had never believed in ghosts, starts waking up with strange bruises on his arms, as if someone had been gripping him tightly in his sleep. One evening, Laura hears the unmistakable sound of a woman sobbing upstairs. When she follows the noise, she finds the attic door wide open, though she's certain they had closed it. She climbs the stairs and, in the dim light, sees a figure standing in front of the window, a woman in a tattered white dress, her back turned to Laura. Frozen in fear, Laura calls out, but the figure vanishes before her eyes. David, still skeptical, starts spending more time in the attic, determined to find a rational explanation for the strange occurrences. But the more time he spends up there, the more distant and irritable he becomes. He starts talking about the house as if it were alive, and Laura notices that he's developing an obsession with the attic, refusing to leave it even as the haunting grows more dangerous. The whispers become clearer, no longer just sounds but words. They call to Laura, accusing her of crimes she doesn't understand. The voice is bitter and angry, and Laura realizes that Isabella is blaming her, blaming all of them, for something terrible that happened long ago. Part. The past unveiled. Desperate for answers, Laura dives deeper into the history of the house and discovers a horrifying truth. Isabella hadn't simply taken her own life out of heartbreak, she had been murdered. The man she loved had locked her in the attic after discovering she was pregnant, hoping to keep her hidden until she disappeared. Isabella had died of starvation and despair, her spirit trapped in the attic, her soul consumed by a desire for revenge. The more Laura uncovers, the more the spirit's wrath intensifies. David begins to act increasingly erratic, as if possessed by the spirit of Isabella's former lover. He begins speaking in a strange voice, often addressing Laura as Isabella, confusing her with the woman from the past. Sophie, too, falls deeper under the ghost's influence. One night, Laura finds her daughter standing at the foot of her bed, staring blankly ahead and whispering the same words Isabella had written in her final letter, "He will pay. They will all pay." Part 6. The final confrontation. The haunting reaches its climax when Laura realizes that the only way to stop Isabella's spirit is to give her the justice she was denied in life. She must confront the ghost and offer closure by acknowledging the truth of what happened. One stormy night, with the house creaking and groaning under the weight of the wind, Laura climbs to the attic alone, armed only with the letters and a photograph of Isabella. The attic is freezing, and the shadows seem to move on their own. As Laura enters, the door slams shut behind her, and the whispers turn into screams. Isabella's ghost appears before her, her face twisted in rage and sorrow, her hollow eyes fixed on Laura as though she were the one responsible for her suffering. Laura, trembling, holds out the letters and the photograph, pleading with the spirit to let go of her pain and find peace. She promises that the truth will be told, that Isabella will not be forgotten. For a moment, it seems as though the ghost is listening. The air grows still, and the shadows recede. But just as Laura begins to hope that it's over, the ghost lashes out, her icy hands wrapping around Laura's throat. In that instant, David bursts into the attic, snapping out of his trance, and pulls Laura away. Together, they manage to break the hold the ghost has on the house. As they flee the attic, the spirit of Isabella lets out one final, anguished wail, and the attic door slams shut for the last time. The air becomes still, and the house falls into a heavy silence. Part 7. The Aftermath. In the days that follow, the house feels different, lighter, as though the oppressive atmosphere has lifted. The footsteps and whispers stop, and the family finally begins to heal from the trauma. They decide to move, leaving the haunted mansion behind for good, but the memory of what happened there will forever haunt them. As they drive away, Sophie looks back at the house one last time. She's still there, she whispers softly. She'll always be there. The Ghost in the Attic is a slow burn, atmospheric horror story that weaves together themes of betrayal, guilt, and the lingering effects of unresolved trauma. The ghost of Isabella Crawford is a tragic figure, but her anger and grief make her a terrifying presence that haunts the Harris family to the brink of madness. The story leaves readers with a chilling question: can the dead ever truly rest, or do they forever linger in the places where their pain was born?
Thank you for watching. Just like and subscribe.